Hello everyone. Today we are taking a walk along the Cowgate. Now this is a proper traditional Edinburgh day, everyone. It is dreich, it is miserable. Dreich is usually what we say to a horrible, rainy, one of those days that just make you feel a little bit, make you want to stay inside, you know. It's a dreich day, it's dour, it's miserable. So it's one of those days. So hi everyone. So we're going to take a walk along the Cowgate today. So I'm starting here at the grass market. That is the grass market, literally right there. You can just see Edinburgh Castle towering up the top there. But I'm going to turn exactly 180 degrees and we start at the Cowgate right here. This corner here is essentially the start of the Cowgate. And just to give you a little bit of perspective, sort of a little bit of direction, bus. I really don't have luck with buses, do I? They always seem to be getting in my way. That right there is Candlemaker Row. That will lead you up to the main entrance of Greyfriars Kirkyard. But actually, this is difficult because I'm holding an umbrella. That there is Greyfriars. Look, I've got gloves on. That there is Greyfriars Kirkyard, right there. So, just to give you a rough idea, if you head up there, you will get to the little statue of Greyfriars Bobby, and then you'll be at Chambers Street in the museum and things like that. But we're not going up there. You will find here on the grass market there is a few hostels. So if you're a backpacker, a lot of them are down this way. I mean, they're all over the place, but there are a few here. And this is the first thing we hit. The kick-ass hostels. Apparently they're quite good. But you can see, who wouldn't want to stay in a hostel in a beautiful old building like that? I have no idea if it's a nice hostel, but look at the building. Hosteling is not something I've ever done. I need to address something as well. My umbrella. I say my umbrella. It's not my umbrella. Ella. It's Kirsten's, and it's her Mary Poppins umbrella. But it's all I could find this morning, so that's what I've got. Now the Cowgate is an area that probably you're going to look at and go, oh no, let's not go down there, because it doesn't look the most appealing, but it does have some incredible, beautiful big buildings like this, and it's got it's part of the original Edinburgh. This was in the city walls. The earliest known record of its name, getting its name, is 1428 when it started to get called the Cowgate, and it got. Sorry, it's a bit dark, but I am under an umbrella and it's a miserable day. It got that name because it's the route that cattle would be brought to market. The grass market being right there, and then lawn market and all these things. So this would be the route, but on market day the cattle would be brought to market, hence the Cowgate. Imaginative, isn't it? It's a lot of old buildings here though. There's a lot of work going on as well. This area here, for a long time, I don't know what's going on in there, but a long time they used to, I'm pointing with the umbrella now, they used to have windows in here because before the work started doing, there was a lot of archaeological work on in there. Unfortunately, they must have finished that part now. Now, this Magdalen Chapel is the oldest remaining building on the Cowgate. It's unbelievable how many churches and chapels Edinburgh has. I've never looked at those old windows before. How cool are they? You should always look up. Look at that beautiful steeple, and the clock isn't working. It's the wrong time on the clock. But look at that. Those old windows there. Is that not absolutely beautiful? Sorry about the sound of all the building work and the rain falling on the umbrella, but it's not a nice day. Apparently this has got an almshouse in it, and that was for the poor men of the town to go in and pray for the soul of Mary Queen of Scots. So this must have been a Catholic chapel, and apparently somewhere, obviously not on the front here, but in there is the only remaining stained glass window pre-Reformation of Scotland, in the whole of Scotland. I think they must have went out and got rid of any Catholic stained glass windows, which seems, you know, extreme to the most, but yeah, apparently in there somewhere is the only pre-remaining stained glass windows that existed before the Reformation of Scotland. History. As we carry on, we'll start to get to a few clubs and pubs. Now in these sort of places here, and there, and on my left hand side, in this part here, which is, oh, it is open, the underbelly takes over a lot of this during the festival. There's the cowshed, which is, you know, again, that's probably just left up from the festival finishing last year. 700 shows, 9 stages. There we go, see? Now bear in mind, I'm not a young spring chicken anymore, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not as knowledgeable when it comes to the pubs and clubs and what goes on now. Those days have unfortunately passed. However, in my younger days, I used to be down here a lot. This is where me and my mates used to go for a few beers and a dance. And even when I was drinking, these were pubs. Subway, Opium, Sneaky Pete's. But there are some beautiful, lovely buildings here. Like I said, don't be afraid of it. It doesn't look pretty, but there's a lot of cool stuff on here. I mean, that is not an original building, you can tell by the brickwork, but it is still a beautiful, stunning building. And down here is the Three Sisters pub. Again, another one of my old haunts. In fact, I used to host karaoke's in here for a little while. Not all the time. It was my friend used to host them and I used to host if he couldn't do it. However, on the most part where he was hosting, I was usually there singing. Another hostel. Cowgate hostel reception here. And then, like I said, on the opposite, Three Sisters, it's quite a large pub. With a hotel as well, I think, above it. You can see there's a lot of, oh look, just as I'm talking about it, tonight, karaoke, 10 PM. I think those days have passed me now. It'd be a shame to show up the kids. However, if you're into watching your sporting events, rugby, golf, football, this is actually a very good pub to go to. It's got a nice big outdoor screen if the weather's not too great. And also, it does have outdoor areas that are sheltered there as well. You can kind of see, you see in there it's got gazebos, permanent gazebos set up, so it's a lot of fun. £5 for a full breakfast, open from 7 AM. I think, possibly, a video of different breakfasts to try in Edinburgh is not a bad idea. I may have to suffer having lots of full breakfasts just for you. No need to thank me. No need. I'll do it. You're welcome. You're welcome. As we continue on down, this is all still the Cowgate hostel, opposite Three Sisters pub as well, right there. Just a little sign. Slanjavar. Cheers and good health to you all. History-wise, I mean, I can't think of any big stories of the Cowgate. I'm sure there are some, but as you all know, I'm not a historian. But it's funny because at one point in the earlier days of Edinburgh, this is where a lot of nobles lived. There would be a lot of big, fancy houses here. But then it changed to the slum area of Edinburgh. Around about the 1700s until about 1950, this was more of a slum area. So it's funny how it went from one end of the financial perspective to the other. I don't know how that happened. But yeah, I'm trying to stay back from the road because cars are splashing up puddles. Another little pub here, Brewdog, that is Scottish beer, Scottish brewed beer. There's a lot of student accommodation down this way as well. This is what we're starting to hit now, this building right in front of me just after the scaffolding. That's a lot of student accommodation. But again, we have been here a lot because all these roads lead to the Royal Mile. These are all the closes that we originally walked down when we did the exploring every close in the Royal Mile. So we have actually popped out onto the Cowgate quite a lot when we did all those sort of videos of exploring every close. We've nut down here and popped our head out and then went back up to the Royal Mile because the Royal Mile and the Cowgate run parallel to one another. So the Royal Mile is just up there, up to my left, and the Cowgate is just on the bottom right hand side of the Royal Mile as you head down the Royal Mile. Princes Street's on the opposite side of it. Right here, that is an escape room, but it's a Harry Potter themed escape rooms. So if you enjoy your escape rooms and you enjoy your Harry Potter, I've never tried it, but I'm guessing that will be the place for you. Again, we're hitting more pubs and clubs, and most of these do food as well. Will we have a look at the menu over there, just so you can get an idea? Let's do that. So, let's have a look at this menu. This is Ox 184 here. Again, there's another full breakfast there. Something is definitely calling me to just eat a lot of food for you guys. It's a hard life. Here is another tradition we have in Edinburgh. Old churches turned into pubs. So this is Stramash. I am going to go over to have a look at what's on, because a few of you have asked about this. It's a live music venue, so a lot of live music goes on in here. This is the February 2020 live bands every night of the week. However, I want to point out that a couple of times traditional Scottish Ceilidh right there, got another one there, traditional Scottish Ceilidh. So if you are wanting to see something like that, there's another one, traditional Scottish Ceilidh. So they obviously do it fairly often. A lot of you have asked about that sort of thing. I do not know if it's any good, okay? So don't judge me. I'm not recommending or anything like that, but I am letting you know that if you're coming and that's what you want to try to see, then maybe you should head there. So there's the website, www.stramashedinburgh.com, and hopefully you'll manage to get some Scottish music there. A lot of you have asked about where can we go to see some Scottish music, traditional music. So far, that's one of the few places I can see. So you might want to look up that and see if they've got it on. Up on my left there, that's the halfway mark of roughly the Royal Mile. The Tron Kirk is right there. I can go straight over and go down Coburn Street right there. I can go up and straight over onto Coburn Street. That's where I am, okay? So if you're wanting to go to Stramash, if you want to see if they've got live music, that's how you'll get there. Go down the Royal Mile until you get to the Tron Kirk, opposite the Coburn Street, come down here, and then it is literally just on your left hand side. Sorry, it'll be on your right hand side as you come down, my left hand side, okay? A little bit of history now for you. You can see that these are fairly new buildings, private karaoke rooms. Anyway, in 2002 there was an enormous fire on this spot right here, at the bottom of Blair Street, just near Stramash. The fire burned for 52 hours. It took down about 7 buildings. It was huge. Afterwards, it lay empty, this bit of ground, for a long time, and eventually they started to do a lot of excavation work underneath, because obviously there hadn't been any done for a lot, and they found a lot of stuff. They found a lot of remnants of the old posh buildings that I told you about earlier, and a lot of remnants of the old slum buildings. They even found what they think is an old board game. So as terrible as it was that all of that was destroyed, historical wise it was a good opportunity for them to excavate some of the area. I, however, going back to my younger days, used to hang out here quite a lot, because round about here somewhere there was a door into a club called the Kitchen. And me and my mates used to go to the Kitchen. There was one area in it, at the back in the corner, that had 2 old shop fronts, original old shop fronts, as part of the club. They're gone now, they burnt down. It's a shame, because they were original buildings and they were just, they're gone. Opposite this, we hit another carnivore meat and bourbon bar. So let's have a quick look at the menu here if you fancy any of this. Small plates. Probably not the best for meat eaters, vegetarians. However, it does have vegetarian food on there as well. So, ignoring the 2.5 cow, this is another reason why you shouldn't be afraid to explore the Cowgate. Look at this. Look at Nidri Street South here. Look how beautiful that looks right there. See what I mean? Don't be afraid to explore the town, people. And then opposite here as well, this is St Cecilia's Hall, Concert Room and Music Museum. Yet another hostel. So you can see it's definitely, if you're staying in a hostel here, you're probably going to hit one of these, I would guess. I mean, that's 4 hostels in that short area right there. Oh, that looks very cool in there. Look at that. Near this spot Cardinal Beaton's house. I don't know who Cardinal Beaton was, and I don't know where his house is, but I do know that he lived somewhere near that spot. This is us essentially now coming to the end of the Cowgate. If you head straight down that way, you will get to Dynamic Earth Visitor Attraction. You can kind of just start to see, just there in between the buildings there, that is the start of Arthur's Seat right there. There it is, can you see it? Just before we finish off. Look at this, this is St Patrick's as well. How beautiful is that? So many churches here in Edinburgh. That is St Patrick's. And here we are at the other end of the Cowgate. So again, just to get your bearings so you know where you are, so that's one end to the other. Right up there, that's the Royal Mile. Just at that point there, and that is where the old city gates were. That is right up there. You get to the World's End pub. It's just there. This is where we started when we did the tour of the Flodden Wall. If you've never seen, when we walked around the Flodden Wall, the wall that used to surround the old city of Edinburgh, we started up there, and then we went down here and up there towards the Pleasance, where you can still see part of the Flodden Wall. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link in the corner and in the description now. Last little bit of history about the Cowgate before we finish. During that period where it was a slum area, 1700s to about 1950, also got the nickname Little Ireland because there was so many Irish immigrants moved in and stayed in that area. So I don't think there was one specific part of it. I think the Cowgate as a whole got that nickname. So the Grassmarket got the nickname Little Italy, and the Cowgate right next door got the nickname Little Ireland. A massive shout out to J&K, stay in Vegas. Thank you for watching and commenting and becoming a new subscriber. Thank you very much on that last video, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please, as always, remember to like, share, leave a comment, and as always, please subscribe. Remember, guys, 10,000, that's the dream. That is the dream, 10,000 subscribers. But we'll leave it there, because I am wet and I am cold, and I want to go home. So the sacrifices I make for you guys. Until next time. Bye, humans.